Hello everybody. We're starting with the starter decks. Wizards of the Coast dropped 10 packs on us, or 10 decks. We're going to go with Saddle Up for the next one. We've been making our way through them in simple alphabetical order. Boba Fett is our opponent. Welcome to Tpull's Corner. I'm Travis. I will be your host with the most for the evening. 81 cards still in the deck. Okay. No one drops here, so we play our tapped land first. And then we have two Intrepid Stable Masters, so we can put some ramp down right away. We'll see if the opponent views these as dangerous enough that they should counter them or kill them. They counter. So not as much ramp as we might want, but shouldn't be a big deal, because we have another one. That one gets through without a counter spell. But are we up against a poison deck? We've got Mirrex that can create poisonous things. We've got a counter spell that gets a little bit more powerful once I get 3 poison counters. Aha! It's a poison deck. Alright, what can we do? We lost all of our ramp and we missed a land drop. Let's go ahead and put out the most powerful thing we got. I'm expecting four of these in the deck, some bounce spells. This is a good card to have right about now. And Wily Duke is an interesting hero here. In order to gain a life and draw a card, you have to let it become tapped, but it actually has vigilance, so you need to do something else to tap it. That's by design because the Outlaws of Thunder Junction gave us the mount mechanic. Oh, hello. That was quick. I have a poison deck like that, and I don't give up so easily. But my poison deck is no longer any good because we had rotation, and I had too many cards in there that were from the older expansions. So let's go in now, and we'll go into where are you, Saddle Up? Down below. Let's show you the entire deck. This is put together by a play design team from Wizards of the Coast, and it is mostly Outlaws of Thunder Junction, a little bit of Ixalan and Eldraine thrown in. Here we start with Acrobatic Leap. Target creature gains +1/+3 and gains flying until end of turn, and you get to untap it. So nice little combat tactic. Couple of spells to help combat flyers, which is always good. 2 copies of Steer Clear, again for more interaction, deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Steer Clear deals 4 damage to that creature instead if you controlled a mount as you cast this spell. 2 Death Touch Chump Blockers, Ankle Biters. 2 copies of Cooped Up to make sure a creature can't attack or block, and if we've got spare mana later, we can exile that enchanted creature. So not a bad spell. 3 of the Bristleback Sentries. This is power 4 or more. It's a thing we're very familiar with from down through the years with Magic the Gathering. It's got defenders, so in the old days this would have been a wall. As long as you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Bristleback Sentry can attack as though it didn't have defender. We've got, as you can see, 5, 4, 4, 4 right there. We've got lots of power 4 things in the deck, so it's going to be really easy to get this to be able to attack if we wanted to. The Intrepid Stable Masters, they have reach, which is good. So we've got not just the Acrobatic Leaps, but we've already got others that can block any cheap flyers, like fairies. We can add a green, or we can add 2 of any color, but we can only spend the mana to cast a mount or vehicle spell with the 2 mana of any color. Throw from the Saddle. Target creature you control gets a +1 just until end of turn, but if it's a mount, you get a counter instead. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So you can see we've got How much interaction? 2, 4, 6 already, and we're not even out of the 2-drops. Seraphic Steed, only one copy of this. First strike and lifelink for a 2/2. Just getting is anything small, right? You can saddle it for 4, and then if it attacks while saddled, you create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. So, if you can get just one strike in earlier and get a 3/3 white angel creature, you're in the bonus territory already. It's all gravy after that. Sometimes it's if you don't think your opponent has a lot of removal, or you think they don't have good defense against flying, you might run this creature in even though you expect it to die, just to switch from the 2/2 to a 3/3 flyer. So the way the mount and saddle stuff works, you tap any number of other creatures you control with power 4 or more. The mount becomes saddled until end of turn. So if you have 2 2/2s and you tap them both, that qualifies, or just one power 4, maybe power 5, whatever, you can tap them, and then all of a sudden the mount here is considered to be saddled. This is it's sort of turning creatures back into vehicles, but a little more dangerous, because with vehicles, vehicles kind of have this, what do you call it? Well, they have, I guess they consider to have summoning sickness when you bring them in too, so maybe it's about the same. Oh, you know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of the enlist tactic. When you have somebody use the enlist ability, you can't tap a creature that just got summoned. They're not valid. But this follows the more vehicle kind of rules, right? So if I summon a power 4 creature down immediately, you can tap it and use it to activate the saddle mechanic, just like you could bring something down and tap it to activate a vehicle. And so it's interesting. This is the only reference we're going to see to vehicle spells, but they include the Stable Master, so you could put this in a vehicle deck. Just some thoughts for the future for you. Another mount, a beast mount, Fortune Loyal Steed, 2/4. When it enters, you scry 2 whenever it attacks while saddled, and saddle is only 1, so it's really cheap. At end of combat, you exile the mount itself and up to 1 creature that's saddled at this turn, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. Nothing that we've seen yet would really warrant exiling, but we're looking for creatures that maybe have an enter into the battlefield type of effect that would be good for us to exile. Moment of Valor, another couple of combat tricks. You could give them +1 and indestructible till end of turn to save a particular creature you like, or you could destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. It's that second choice that we're probably going to end up using the most. 1,000 Moons Infantry. I like this card. I've designed an entire deck around this card already. You can find it easy enough in the playlists. You untap it during each other player's untap step. So you can attack with it. It will tap. And then as soon as your opponent has an untap phase, it untaps. So it's very close to just like having Vigilance, but not quite. And there are some interesting ways that you can have fun with this, that you can manipulate it. Kind of unique card right now, I think, in the environment. Vengeful Townsfolk. This is, I think, basically a reskinned card, right? 3 mana, 3/3. Whenever one or more creatures you control die, put a +1/+1 counter on them. We've seen plenty of these type of creatures before in Magic the Gathering. 2 of the Drover Grizzlies. These are bear mounts. Whenever attacks while settled, creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. It's kind of cheap, right? 4/2. So it's kind of expendable, but you're looking to give it that trample ability and maybe close out a match. Honorary Tumblewag is another mount. Only costs 2 to saddle. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So if this is the only creature on the battlefield you have, you turn into a 3/3 at the very beginning of your first combat. Whenever it attacks while saddled, you double the number of +1/+1 counters on a target creature. This is a potential game upsetter. If you can't stop it, it's going to build up momentum pretty fast. Outcast Trailblazer. When it enters, add 1 mana of any color. Whenever another creature controlled with power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. So you're seeing a couple of the power 4 or greater theme in here. Not a whole lot. But this also has plot, which means you can pay 3 in a turn, and then it goes into exile. And then you can just sort of save it whenever you want. And then you can go ahead and play it when you're ready to. Not much more I want to say about that card right now. Congregation Griff. Flyer. Lifelink. 1/4. Whenever attacks while saddled, it gets +X/+X, where X is the number of mounts you control. How many mounts do we have so far? I don't think we had none there. These are all okay. So Fortune's one, the Grizzlies one, and we have two of those. So that's three. Brushwag's a fourth one, and the Griff is another one, and then the Seraphic Steed so far. So we got 6. So if you get all your mounts out and they manage to survive, yeah, you could maybe tap one of them to saddle this, and it suddenly becomes like a 7-Eleven. Hey, we turned it into a supermarket store. That was easy. Wily Duke, Atin Hero. This is specifically designed for the saddle mechanic so that you can tap it. It fits in nice with the Power 4 or more theme. And so you saddle one of your other creatures. You have to tap this creature because you're saddling your mount. And so because it comes tapped, you get this additional benefit from using this as your saddle up partner, I guess you want to call it. You gain a life and draw a card each time. Nice little draw card advantage. Giant Beaver, so more mounts. Whenever Giant Beaver attacks while saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature that saddled it this turn. So a way to get counters on the other stuff. This is really good to put on the Seraphic Steed and beef up its survivability if you have the chance. Railway Brawler. Here's another one with plot. This one's a mythic rare card. It's really powerful because you plot it, and then when you're ready and you think, if you think your opponent has removal, maybe you want to save this, right, till later. But whenever another creature you control enters, you put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is its power. That has reach and trample. Bounding Felidar, the last mount. Whenever it attacks while saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. You gain 1 life for each of those creatures. It's very cheap to saddle. It only costs power 2 to saddle. This is obviously a go wide kind of aggro creature deck. If you can get a lot of creatures out, this can also be another potential game ender. And they gave you from Eldraine a copy of Gruff Triplets. This I've also had fun, especially putting this in my Devilish Valet deck before rotation. 3/3 when it enters. If it's not a token, you create 2 tokens that are copies. So you have 3 of these Satyr Warriors that are all 3/3. When it dies, put a number of counters equal to its power on each creature you control named Gruff Triplets. So if you kill one of them, the other 2 become 6/6 creatures. Very devastating enemy. You sort of need a board wipe to get rid of these. So between Railway Brawler, Bounding Felidar, and Gruff Triplets, you got a lot of high-end threats there that are all kind of scary. And then the rest of this is all the kind of mounts down at the lower end. Let's go ahead and look at this. We have average 2.7, so not an expensive deck, right? 25 lands, right? Yes, is all the other Premades, and 25 creatures. So we're just looking to put down threats and have them synergize with each other using this saddle mount kind of mechanic thing. Let's go in. My first impressions, it does have, I would say, the minimum number of interactions necessary to make it a viable deck in the current environment. Maybe you might be tempted to put an emergency board wipe in there. But since we've got so many creatures, we should be able, generally speaking, to match up with any other creatures that are going to be put out on the field at any one given moment. This is not the best opening, but we can cast the Trailblazer on turn 3, and if it survives for a turn, we can use it to get rid of other threats on the field. What was that? Bloom Barrel. Wandertail Mentor. When you expend 4, put a counter on it. Okay. The new expansion is out. People are having fun with it. And so we've got raccoons. And they already got a little jump on us as far as mana. We're going to put this out now. There's nothing we can really do with the extra mana. Let's see, if they expend 4, they gain 3 life. That's 2. And they got rid of our creature already, giving us problems that we can't use to throw from the saddles. And we have no white mana, so we've got dead cards in our hands. So Maybe we were supposed to. Dang, they didn't even though I don't have a second creature, they went ahead and put out the second Hunter's Talent already. Yet another dead card, actually, because we don't have a 5th untapped land. We did finally get the white mana, so we could put down our Loyal Steed, but we're running out of room here. Okay, so they're going to get card draw, right? So they'll add the +1 onto the Mentor. That's 6. Draw a card with the 4 or more theme. That is not what we wanted. It's tap land again. We could plot this, that's why that's showing up. But all that we can really do is put down this. And 3, 4, 5. I kind of need both of those. I guess we do it this way so we can put down Gruff Triplets if we survive. The suspense is killing me. They have 8 mana. There's 6 already. They can just put a bunch of counters on everything, right? And it's got trample. I'm in so much trouble. So much trouble here. They gained 3 life from that. These are permanent counters. I'm going to have to chump block just to stay alive because they're going to add a +1 here, and that's lethal. Oh wait, we're gonna die, right? They can deal damage, so yeah, I'm dead already. Had a good powerful card that would have saved me, but they got 3 of this class that allowed them to interact with me ahead of time. Maybe I was supposed to plot that creature at the very beginning and wait till I had enough mana to use the interaction. We'll keep that in mind for next time. How was I supposed to know that? That kind of operated just like a mono black deck, right? They got a couple of creatures down early, they had a couple of removals. They just kept hitting my face and getting rid of whatever I put down. Hard to beat. Again, we don't have anything to put down or do until turn 3, but our mana base is a lot better to start with. Double strike as long as you've committed a crime. What do we want to put down? How about a 1/4? There's a crime, gives this double strike, which means we don't want to block. They still have open mana. But we have a throw from the saddle we can use to get rid of this little thing. Wow, that's a long time. It's a long time to think about doing nothing. Okay, we like that. We like that they did some stuff because we're going to do some stuff. That becomes a permanent counter because we had a mount. And now we just attack. And we could surprise it. But I don't know if we want to burn Acrobatic Leap against a 1-drop. Oh, never mind. I don't think we have anything that gets rid of enchantments, do we? So that one is lost to us. That's potential power there. Yeah, I don't want to untap the opponent's creature. And that exile is not the same as killing, so it wouldn't have mattered if we had the Vengeful Townsfolk down already or not. But they have black, so they probably have all sorts of different kinds of removals still to come. And they can dig if they're missing their land drop mostly. Let's see, we could save this, make things indestructible. I'd rather put a second townsfolk down, and that way if they kill one, I get a counter on the other. Will you survive? No. If no other creature has greater power. Okay, they tapped out for that. So they are... Let's do this. No, not this one. Hang on. Sorry. Vengeful Townsfolk followed by Ankle Biter. We're casting 2 spells in 1 turn. If they have 1 removal, then the other will still be alive. That's basically 2 removal spells already. We just had the 1. Although this can be 1 if they come up with something better. They're not hitting any land yet. Not a problem if they have a very cheap deck. Novice Inspector's cheap. Banishing Light is not too bad. Okay, they're digging, right? They must want more land. And they get it. Oh, that's good. That's good because this is a mount. That's going to be wonderful. We're going to test the waters with this, see if they have any 1 mana trick. They do not. They just chump block. Maybe because they have a board wipe themselves? No. Okay, so they kill the snake, but that gives me a counter. If they're afraid, they could put this down now, but ideally it's better if they wait. Another Banishing Light. You're going to use that on the 3/3? Okay. Alright, we're going to go for broke here. We're going to bring down our heavy. We can use this to saddle it and give this counters and gain a little life each time we attack. Four doesn't help you much. What else you got? Thunder Lasso. What does Thunder Lasso do, remind me? Gets a +1/+1. Tap creature defending player controls. Okay, not a problem. We will saddle. And we will attack. That one gets a counter and we got the life. They're not bothering to attack. And the thing that's cool about Acrobatic Leap is if they wanted to go ahead and tap a creature, we can untap it after this takes effect. So we can maybe kill the Shepherd if it tries to attack us. Another one. Another one? That's a mistake. Okay, if they're a rookie, they're going to spend more mana. You can't blame them. They're getting rid of a very powerful card. But since they're tapped out, we know we can destroy that for sure. Okay, they got all sorts of our stuff off the board now. But we are bigger than them, so we're just going to swing in and attack. They're going to chump block? Why would you do that? You couldn't take another 3 points of damage? Okay, I see you have a lot of Shrouded Shepherds. Why do they keep looking at this stuff? This is not a mount. I'm gonna pass. If they have a 4th Banishing Light, I'm gonna cry foul. Okay, so they go to 5. I can survive that. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if they don't have a way to modify that, We can still get rid of it, but we'll have to use both of our spells on each creature target player controls. Gross. Now, I'm not liking that. They can tap that anyway. That's fine. We could stop that, but I'm going to take the 6. I need more ammo here. I need more. That is not helpful. If they needed anything more than 3 mana, really, to do anything yet, they've got a very cheap deck. Pass to blockers. Okay, so we untap this now. We pass, we block. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, this is lovely. Untap. Give me +1. Make me indestructible, please. Bam. There go all your spirit warriors. Is that 4? That's 4 shrouded shepherds. We went through them all already. Sweet. We are flooding out quite bad. I could use one more mount sometime, Arena. Seriously? What's my land to spell ratio here? There's 10 lands. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spells total. We got something. Can't believe they used 2 Thunder Lassos. Yep, we got it. We got them. Kind of straightforward. You're just plugging down the creatures. It's not quite as fast as mono red aggro, but you're still just sort of putting down the creatures and turning them sideways. 3 bowls of porridge. Do I have 3 of 3 bowls of porridge, or do I have 4 copies of 3 bowls of porridge now? 3 bowls of porridge. Say it 3 times fast. Our opponent is using a much more imposing avatar than I am. I'm using a skinny, all bones kind of avatar for the duration. We have a cooped up, which I like for a change. And we have something we can use to tap Wily Duke with, so. I like everything we're starting off with here. This is, I won't say this is the perfect opening hand, but this is a very good start, I think. What do I put out first out of these 3? Beauregard, Mentor, power and toughness equal to the number of creatures. Let's do this to start with. Opponent has no problem making the land drops. And they do nothing. Well, well, well. Let's maximize what we got going on. And we're going to test the waters here. We'll attack. Do they have a battle tactic they want to use? They have 4 untapped, so I think they do. They don't do anything. Here you're going to see this untap next turn. Oh wait, there we go. Repel Calamity. Got rid of my mount already. It's okay, I got another one. It's all good. Gross. What do we want to do now? I feel like don't have anything we can attack with. Kind of sad that I only have one plains right now. Opponent does not miss a land drop. Down, boy, down. Druid and Spade. As long as you control a token, it gets +2. We're going to take that for damage. Oh, what? Hello. I'm going to block you. I'm taking for granted they don't have the kind of interaction that they need. Okay, now this could be fun. Activate, saddle, submit 4, gain a life, draw a card. That gives me my land drop. We attack with you. We get 2 because one creature. We used one creature to saddle that. Nine. Ouch. We're taking it. Okay. I think it's time we destroy something. That felt good. We're going to saddle this again so we can gain a life and draw a card. And we'll bring down the Grizzly. We don't need to attack. We're just tapping that so I don't feel like I have to use it as a chump blocker. I feel like we got rid of the biggest thing they've got. What's left? What is this final card? They should be able to cast whatever it is. It looks like they're debating it. Oh no. It's tapped. Okay. Colossification is an old card. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's a reprint. So it's in the current expansion. When it enters, you'd have to tap the creature. What I would do is I would put that on Thousand Moons Infantry, so it would tap during my turn and then it would untap. So I've already got it. When I start getting copies of this card, I've got an idea of a deck I want to make with Thousand Moons Infantry, just so you have an idea of what we're going to be doing with that. But what we're going to do with this is we're going to put this out now, and we're not going to tempt fate. We're going to spend our mana, exile the enchanted creature, get rid of the 2020. We will go ahead and saddle this again. And we're going to saddle... Let's see. Creatures go... Yes, we're going to saddle with Thousand Moons Infantry. And this is going to untap next turn to be a blocker. So we're controlling two mounts, the Grizzly and Griff, so we get +2 on the flyer. And they've got to decide if they're going to chump block there, and they do. They double block. Yeah, let's take it that way. I'm more than willing to make that trade. The life gain is making the difference here where I don't worry about anything. +1 counter on each of 2 targets, so we got a 5/5. Whenever a creature control with a +1/+1 counter, double the number of counters on it. That's gross. So this is perfect timing for this. We get rid of it now. So I have no idea what else they want to do. We saddle this. We can bring down something with ramp, which is good. We attack. Well, I don't want to saddle again, sorry. We attack with you. We gain some life. We're not going to bother chump blocking with Thousand Moons Infantry. If this is a combat trick, we just let it through. And they're not getting any tokens, so this is not working out for them right now. Let's see. We cast this now. I don't see a need to wait for a plot. And we do that to you. Okay. We do this, bring this down. And we attack. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. We attack with both this time. They've got nothing to stop us in the air. They're blocking with both. That's fine. We're going to deal 4 damage because we possess a mount. Get rid of you. And our Thousand Moons Infantry will survive and still be untapped. And our giant beaver is 8. An 8/8. Life is good. We like how the deck is handling. There are some other cards that have the saddle mechanic that deal with saddles and mounts, including one creature that gives things hexproof. Can be really dangerous, at least until Duskmorrow comes out, or Duskmorn. Some interesting cards in the upcoming expansion. We will bring down the Sentry right away. Right now it's just a 3/3 defender, so not the worst thing if they remove it. But if we're facing a bunch of cheap stuff, it's good to have it out for the start. We're going to bring down... see, they got rid of it already. So we need to bring down that so we have white mana. Oh, those squirrels, bats, lizards, and rats. Okay. Fortune Low Steed is out of the reach of cut down. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I need to get Bounding Felidar out. We'll actually take the land. And Virtue of Persistence isn't going to do anything against this, so they need to have a different type of removal, which they might have. There we go. They pay the life for destroying it. So now we bring down Vengeful Talonfolk. And if they have a -3, we have a trick here that can save it. And the food begins. Does this mean the foraging is going to begin? Bam. Okay, so if they do have removal and get rid of this thing, then I still get a counter here. And if they don't get rid of this, next turn's going to be fun. Ouch. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're still good. It's all good. I saddle this here. Submit the 4. Get a land. Go to combat. Attack. The other 2 creatures get counters. They can double block or triple block if they want to. Or they can just take the 4 points of damage. Oh, hello. They go for the food token. They get a counter on their other squirrel. Interesting choice. Not what I would have expected. We're not worried about anything until they get the Virtue of Persistence out. That's when usually we lose the battle, right? Nothing to take care of enchantments here. One of the few drawbacks of this deck. But it's mostly concerned with putting down enough threats on a regular basis that it doesn't have to worry about enchantments. That we don't get to the turn 7 by that point. But we've already got 7 lands out. We've already hit turn 7, actually. They're just not getting the land draw that they need for a change. Whereas we are drawing a lot of lands. We have not really had a big problem. Sometimes we have not quite the ideal mana base that we want. We seem to be light on white a lot of times. So you could, if you wanted to upgrade this yourself, you could probably find another land that's dual color and switch out 1 or 2 forests. to sort of make up for that. And we're making them think like they were blue. If they just don't have any other, if they happen not to have any other removal handy, this is a problematic front line, even against a 5/5. Okay, are we done? Exciting finish to the video. We play with her. We give them an apple for the horse. We don't know if they're around anymore or not. We will just play like normal. And they are there. They just didn't have a way out. And they weren't willing to sit through another draw or two. Because, of course, with the synergies that we have with the build-up of counters, we're just getting better every turn. Although all they do need is they just need really one good removal to get back in the game. But let's go back in. We'll look at the deck one more time. So, yeah, I think this is a good balanced deck in terms of, you know, you look at what we got. It's still a fairly cheap deck, very manageable. The lands are not, we're not being land starved very much. You've got some very interesting upper tier creatures that you do have enough time to get down usually. And the saddle mechanic gives you all this extra value, and that's the name of the game in Magic, is wherever you can get the extra value. A good Bristleback Sentry, I think, is a very good fit for this type of deck. There's a lot of times you wouldn't want to mess with a card like this, even though a 3/3 for 2 mana is not bad. And the Defender sort of handicap, so to speak, is not that big an obstacle to overcome. It's a nicely designed card for a 2-drop overall. This is all we have for the ramp, really, but the mounts are the things that you want to get down the most. So it's a good ramp card for this type of deck. They didn't need to bother with any other ramp spells, you notice, which kind of saves you a little bit, right? Because you're going to end up drawing lands anyway. You're going to end up flooding out at some point if the game goes on longer enough. But the interaction is good, right? I like having where are you? I like having the 2 cooped ups. I really like the design of this card that you can exile the creature if you don't want it to hang around. And the throw from the saddles are just as good an interaction as anything else. And these interaction cards here are fitting in very well with the creature aggro deck. Very nice battle tactics. They didn't go overboard putting too many of them in. I feel that this is a balanced deck. Thousand Moons Infantry is a very underrated card. This is one that you can use to tap to saddle your creatures, and then it becomes untapped and becomes a 2/4 blocker at your opponent's next turn. Excellent card to put in a saddle mount deck from another expansion. So good choice, good design all around. And then for the bigger creatures, you got destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. The only issue that I really have with the entire deck is that there's a lot of really overpowering artifacts and enchantments that you got to watch out for, and we're just ignoring that. With every card that's in here, we're just kind of counting on the fact that we're going to get the advantage early on, and we're going to be able to maintain it. So by the time they get anything really overpowering set up on their side, we're too far gone for them. And you saw it worked out pretty well in our favor tonight. So when we're looking for the fun and we're looking at the pre-mades that they've made so far, we're looking pretty good in terms of the way we're looking more like we used to in the old days when Wizards made pre-mades. I wasn't impressed with Crack the Case was kind of so-so. Desert Oasis had some flaws, but was still fun to play. Dynamite was fun to play. Fairy Pranks had some good things to it, but I saw it was kind of hit and miss. Outlaw Posse was a well-constructed deck, and Power to the People, although they kept killing Delny on me, so I couldn't use her as much as I wanted, that was also a well-constructed deck. So I feel like we're getting back to where we used to be, where I don't mind playing with the pre-made decks. There's, which is good right now because they're overflowing my deck list and I can't make any new decks until I export these and delete them. But I think we'll leave it there. I look forward to what are your comments about the set. What upgrades would you make besides to the mana base and maybe something in here to get rid of artifacts and enchantments? What else would you do with something like this? I mean, there's Obviously, you could take out something like a giant beaver and put in the more mythic rare hexproof card that makes all your mounts hexproof and that kind of thing. There are ways to make it more powerful, but overall, I'm kind of happy with this, and I feel like it plays well. It does. I'm not sure of the statistics. I think enough time has gone by that all of these are kind of hewing to that 50-50 win-lose ratio, so to speak, for the most part. But the dinosaurs are obviously more popular. This should be, I think, a more popular deck with the ability to have these saddle mounts and the synergies that they provide. I would think that this would be one of the decks that if you take a look at the inside, you're going to want to play this card. Just looking at Gruff Triplets is an awesome card to begin with. Bounding Felidar, if you have just 2 or 3 other creatures, is a winner. Railway Brawler is just an awesome, especially if you can put Railway Brawler down first and then get one of these 2 afterwards. That's a fun, exciting deck to me. So we're trying to find the fun in these Premades. We were despairing at first because of our experience with the last batch of Premades. I just completely forgot about. I tested them, didn't really like much of anything in them, didn't pick them back up again. They're gone, and I think Wizards did better so far. I think we're coming to that conclusion. Do you agree? Let me know. We stop here. We thank our patron, and we invite you to like and subscribe. And we'll have the next deck for you next time to cover these Premades. This is Travis signing off. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.